My father-in-law only accidentally knocked over a cup of coffee, and my wife's little assistant kicked him right in the balls. The old man clutched his crotch, curling up on the floor in pain, but the assistant didn't care at all. He even pointed at him and cursed. "You old bastard, watch where you're walking. I barely touched you, and now you're acting hurt? Trying to scam me?" Then the assistant had security throw my father-in-law into a storage room and locked the door. When I finally found him, he was barely breathing. The blood beneath him had already turned thick and dark in color. Panicking, I called my wife. Our dad was beaten up. He's in critical condition. Get here now. Didn't I tell you? I have an important meeting today. That's your dad. Handle it yourself. Even though my wife quickly hung up, I still heard it through the phone, her assistant's impatient voice. When I called again, my wife had already blocked me. Looking at my father-in-law's pale face, my heart slowly went cold. My wife had no idea the man dying was her own father. On the ambulance ride to the hospital, the pads under him were changed again and again, and his face kept growing whiter. The doctor in the ambulance kept urging me to contact his family, because once we got to the hospital, they'd need family consent for surgery. Fighting back the stench of blood mixed with discharge, I called the assistant Li Yue. When it connected, he spoke first. "Yo, Chuan, begging your wife for attention again?" Put Zhao Ran on the phone. Then Zhao Ran's voice came from the other end. "Bai Chuan, why are you yelling? Our dad will be at Central Hospital in 10 minutes. Come sign the surgery consent form. You have hands, don't you? Why can't you sign your own dad's surgery form? Why do I have to go? I know you're mad. Because I'm with Li Yue. Your little tricks won't fool me. We're doing serious work. Stop being so petty." The more Zhao Ran talked, the more absurd it sounded. Just when I didn't know what to do, my father-in-law suddenly reached out and touched me. "Give me the phone. I'll talk to her." I quickly turned on speaker and placed the phone by his mouth. He was already barely breathing, but he still forced his voice louder. "You brat. Chuan isn't lying. Get to the hospital now." "Dad, what are you doing?" Bai Chuan is being jealous. "And now you're helping him lie to me too? I'm so sick of this." Every doctor and nurse in the ambulance stared wide-eyed, looking at the phone in disbelief, as if they'd never seen a patient's family like this. "Get over here right now." Fine. I got it. I'm coming now. Wait for me." Then before we could respond, she hung up again. Everyone in the ambulance breathed a sigh of relief, but I heard the heavy brush-off in her tone and felt uneasy. Sure enough, even after my father-in-law was sent to the ER, Zhao Ran was still nowhere to be seen in the hospital hallway. And whenever I called her or Li Yue, all I heard was that cold message. "Hello? The user you are calling is currently unavailable. Please try again later." Both of them had blocked me. 1 hour passed. Then 2. By the time I was leaning over the emergency table, seeing him off, Zhao Ran still hadn't shown up. But the next second, a new post from Li Yue popped up on my phone. He had tagged me on purpose. In the photo, Zhao Ran and Li Yue were holding hands by candlelight, smiling happily at each other. The caption said, "Happiness right now." Her dad was dying, yet Zhao Ran was having a candlelit dinner with Li Yue. I snapped. First, I sent my father-in-law's body to the hospital morgue. Even though his last words were telling me to divorce Zhao Ran, he had treated me like his own son. So I still wanted to send him off as his son-in-law. And Li Yue, the one who caused his death, had to be punished. When I walked out of the hospital, the sky was already bright. I went straight to Zhao Ran's office after arriving at the company. I planned to tell her that her father had passed away and discuss the funeral. But as soon as I reached the door, I saw Li Yue walking out of her office. His shirt was buttoned all crooked, and his belt was loose. "Chuan, how's your dad's little thing doing? If it's broken, just cut it off. Old Dung is that old anyway, he doesn't need it. I was helping you out. What if that old creep had some illegitimate kid? Wouldn't they steal your inheritance?" Rage shot through me. I grabbed a vase nearby, swung it hard, and smashed it into him. Li Yu cried out and fell to the floor, howling in pain. "Bai Chuan, why are you hitting people for no reason? If you have rabies, go get treated. Don't go crazy here. Why didn't you come to the hospital yesterday?" "Enough. Is this fun to you? I already saw through your little lie. And you're still not done? Do I have to act along before you'll be happy? Then ask your precious assistant if he kicked an old man downstairs yesterday afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, that old guy knocked over the coffee I just bought. He didn't apologize and even cursed at me. I lost my temper and kicked him once. Chuan, that guy wasn't your dad, was he? Now that I think about it, I did see him telling the front desk he was looking for you. Oh man, what a mess. I really didn't know that was your dad. I was just pissed off back then. My bad. The anger I'd bottled up was about to explode. I rushed forward to grab Li Yue and beat him down, but Zhao Ran frowned and stopped me. My dad really got hurt? How bad is it? Li Yue, how dare you hit an old man? He's still my dad too. Do you know you were wrong? I'm docking 1 month's pay as compensation for Manager Bai. Buy some supplements too. This afternoon, come with me to the hospital and apologize. Chuan, are you satisfied with this? Li Yue is young and impulsive. After this, he'll remember the lesson. Calm down, okay? Satisfied? You think I can't tell you're protecting him? Trying to sweep this under the rug? Dad is already dead. Dead. Do you understand? Zhao Ran and Li Yue both froze. After a moment, Zhao Ran hesitated and said, Does this have anything directly to do with Li Yue? Could it be medical malpractice from the hospital? I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms. The sting told me blood was seeping out, hot and fresh, but my heart was covered in frost. Even at a time like this, Zhao Ren was still trying to protect Li Yue. I glared hard at Zhao Ren, the corners of my eyes aching. Oh, honey, your dad is already dead. Xiao Yue didn't mean it. Are you really going to make him pay with his life? A wave of helplessness surged in my chest. The moment I heard her say, your dad, I finally realized that from the start she thought I was talking about my father. No wonder she'd been trying to clear Li Yue's name. Zhao Ren, listen carefully. I'm talking about your dad. My father-in-law's dead. Li Yue's kick killed him and so did you. Zhao Ren froze again, staring straight at me. Wow. Bai Chuan, your acting has really improved. My dad still had the energy to act with you last night, and now he's dead after one night? If he knew his good son-in-law was so jealous that he'd lie about his death, wouldn't you actually piss him to death? As she said that, Zhao Ren took out her phone and called her father directly. A few seconds later, his phone rang in my pocket. She looked toward the sound, hung up the call, then said, fine, nice attention to detail. So my dad couldn't answer and expose you, right? Bai Chuan, can you grow up? She turned around and started packing things on her desk. Looks like your dad is probably fine, since you still have time to put on this whole show. Send me the room number. Li Yu and I are meeting a client, so we'll stop by on the way. And Li Yue's punishment stays. Happy now? Zhao Ren came closer, stood on tiptoe and kissed my cheek, then hurried toward the door. When Li Yue kicked that man downstairs yesterday, a lot of people in the company saw it. Ask anyone. See whether the man Li Yue kicked was your dad or mine. Zhao Ren sighed helplessly, as if trying to make me give up. She posted a notice in the company group chat, asking anyone who saw it yesterday afternoon to come to her office. Not long after, a young intern walked in nervously. Ms. Zhao, that man yesterday really was your father. Zhao Ran's face changed. She strode up to the girl and slapped her across the face. Then she announced coldly, you're fired. The girl held her cheek, staring at Zhao Ran in disbelief, then looked to me for help. Happy now? You even tricked an intern into acting with you. Aren't you getting a little too spoiled? Bai Chuan, remember this. This girl got fired because of you. She grabbed her clothes, pulled Li Yue with her, and left, watching their backs. I couldn't even bring myself to call out to them. Maybe Zhao Ren would only cry when she saw the coffin with her own eyes. I contacted the funeral home, preparing to hold my father-in-law's funeral. When I pushed his body through the hospital lobby, I overheard a few nurses passing by gossiping. Hey, did you hear? The ER got another crazy one. They're on the way right now. Some young couple was fooling around in the car, and then they got rear-ended. The girl seems fine, but the guy apparently broke that thing. I shook my head, thinking this world was getting more ridiculous. But when I looked up, I saw Zhao Ren rushing over anxiously. Without a word, she grabbed my hand. I thought she had finally found out her father was gone. So I said calmly, since you're here, let's go together. Go where? Stop blocking the way. Move this thing aside. Li Yak had a little accident, and he's about to arrive. I froze. But Zhao Ren pulled me aside without another word. Then she put her hand on the stretcher carrying my father-in-law's body, ready to push it away. Zhao Ren, at a time like this. You're still thinking about Li Yue? Look carefully. Who is this? Right as I was about to lift it, Li Yue's screams came rushing closer. Several doctors pushed him toward the entrance in a panic. I looked up and saw Li Yue lying on the hospital bed. His lower body was covered with a white sheet, and it was stained bright red. Then I suddenly remembered some gossip I'd overheard from the nurses. My heart sank. Seeing me freeze, Zhao Ren didn't wait. She shoved hard and knocked over the gurney. My father-in-law's body rolled onto the floor. The white sheet over his face was pulled off too, revealing his deathly pale face. Zhao Ren had barely opened her mouth before her words stopped cold. Then she followed the doctors pushing Li Yue, and rushed inside after them. Until the day before the funeral, Zhao Ren completely disappeared. She was probably busy taking care of Li Yue. But on the day of the funeral, right after I greeted the guests, she suddenly came back with Li Yue. Bai Chuan, are you done yet? You're addicted to this act now? You really had to go all out? Isn't this bad luck? I gave her a cold look, and ignored her. Then I turned and walked into the morning hall. It was about time. The funeral should begin. As soon as she entered, the first thing she saw was my father-in-law's portrait. Li Yu's eyes went wide too, and he slowly backed away. Bai Chuan, my dad was always so good to you. Why would you use him to lie to me? You even set up a whole mourning hall? I stared at Zhao Ren in disbelief. Even now, she still thought I was lying to her. Chuan, fine, maybe you don't know how to be grateful. But do you really have to curse Ms. Zhao's father to death? I ignored Li Yue's little provocation. But Zhao Ren lost it. She flipped over the offering table, and knocked down the wreaths around it. Then she lifted my father-in-law's portrait high, and smashed it hard onto the floor. The glass cracked right across the eyes in the portrait, as if my father-in-law was crying. But Zhao Ren still didn't stop. She walked straight toward the sealed coffin. Bai Chuan, I don't know what spell you put on my dad to make him play along with you like this. Don't tell me he's lying in here himself. As she said that, Zhao Ran reached for the lid, but her uncle rushed over and stopped her. He pleaded with her earnestly. Ran, your dad is already gone. You can't open the coffin. Let him leave in peace. Uncle Bai Chuan really thinks he's something. Even you guys are helping him put on this show? What, even my dad thinks this is bad luck? So the coffin is empty, right? Afraid I'll expose you? With that, she ignored her uncle's attempts to stop her, and yanked the coffin lid open. But she lost her balance, and fell straight onto the coffin. Her face landed right in front of my father-in-law's pale face. No, this can't be. She reached out, trying to prove it wasn't real. But when she touched his cold skin, her whole body trembled. She slowly pulled her hand back, then collapsed weakly onto the floor, one hand still tightly gripping the edge of the coffin. 2 streams of tears rolled down her face. Baitron, why? Why is my dad dead? Why didn't you tell me? I only felt she was pathetic. I quietly looked at her. I told you so many times, but you never believed me once. The closest you ever got to him was at the hospital entrance. You personally knocked your dad's body onto the floor, but you didn't even look at him. You only cared about that scumbag Li Yue. A few seconds later, her eyes were filled with confusion. She looked around at the wrecked hall. Then she spotted Li Yue in the corner, quietly backing away. Li Yue, what the hell is going on? Didn't you say the man you beat up was Bai Chuan's dad? Li Yue jolted at the sudden question, then dropped to his knees in front of Zhao Ran, and slammed his head to the floor 3 times. When he looked up again, blood was already running down his forehead. I'm sorry, Miss Zhao. I really didn't know he was your father. If I'd known, I never would have dared kick him. I only found out after I got here today. But I was too scared. I didn't dare tell you. Please forgive me. I really didn't mean to. I raised my foot and kicked Li Yue to the ground. I was about to explain to Zhao Ran. Her dad had died from unbearable pain. Scum like Li Yue had to pay. But when I looked up into Zhao Ran's eyes, I froze. They were filled with pity and heartache. She turned her head away and left me with one sentence. Just go. I don't want to see you. I opened my mouth to say something, but not a sound came out. A sigh came from beside me. I turned and saw my uncle looking just as helpless. Li Yue ran off like a coward. My uncle and I didn't say another word. We just quietly cleaned up the mourning hall. The funeral ended as planned. My father-in-law was buried in the plot I had prepared for him. Zhao Ran knelt at the grave for a long time. When the relatives left, they all avoided her like they were escaping. Only my uncle stayed until the end. He waited as I came back from the car with something. He glanced at the divorce papers in my hand, then patted me on the shoulder. Ran's dad once told me about you two. I didn't understand it back then, but today I finally saw it for myself. Leaving her is for the best. I gave him a firm nod, then turned and walked toward Zhao Ran. I had already signed both copies of the divorce papers. I threw them down in front of Zhao Ran, then spoke without a trace of emotion. Sign them. We're done. Once Zhao Ran saw the divorce papers clearly, she immediately stood up and looked at me. Her face was full of irritation. Bai Chuan, what are you pulling now? My dad isn't even cold yet. His spirit is still watching us. And you want a divorce? I stared at her coldly, saying nothing. Only then did the impatience in Zhao Ran's eyes fade. In its place was disbelief. You're serious? Bai Chuan, don't go. My dad just died. How can you leave me all alone? Do you even have a heart? Her voice turned sharp. It sounded like the whole world had betrayed her, as if I were the unforgivable sinner here. Those eyes that used to be full of spoiled pride now held only fear and a nearly crazed desperation. I forcefully pried her fingers loose. They were clutching the cuff of my pants. I only shot back coldly. A heart? My voice was very soft, but it hit her face like poisoned ice. Zhao Ran, your dad was lying on that ER table. He had lost all his blood. When he died with his eyes still open? Where were you? She flinched like she'd been burned. Her whole body jerked back. Her arms around my leg finally loosened. You were having a candlelit dinner with Li Yue. I looked down at her. Every word came out clear as day. Cold and hard like a blade scraping bone. She posted it and even tagged me. The photo looked great. Wine, candles. You two looked so damn happy. The last bit of color drained from Zhao Ran's face. Her lips trembled, but she couldn't say a word. Your dad died because of you. His last wish was for me to divorce you. No, that's not true. Bai Chuan, let me explain. She reached out helplessly. She tried to grab me again, her fingertips ice cold. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. It was a smile with zero warmth. Save it for the judge or your dad in the afterlife. I made plenty of copies of this. I placed the papers and a pen down steadily. Right on her rain-soaked knees. Sign it. This is all that's left between us. There was no emotion in my voice. It was a notice and an ending. Zhao Ren stared hard at the agreement, as if it were a venomous snake ready to swallow her whole. After a few seconds of dead silence, a hysterical fire suddenly exploded in her eyes. She screamed. Like a trapped beast pushed completely over the edge, she grabbed the papers and tore them like crazy. Divorce? Bai Chuan? Don't even think about it. The company shares my dad left behind. You're not getting a single dime. That belongs to the Zhao family. Don't think you can ditch me and live a good life. If I'm miserable, you're going down with me. Whatever. I only said those 2 words. Cold like I was talking about the weather. Then I turned around. I walked toward the car parked outside the cemetery. Behind me, his crying got even sharper. His curses became even more unhinged. There was fear in his voice. There was anger. And there was resentment, but not 1 ounce of guilt for his dead father. After that, everything sped up. It was like someone hit fast forward. Zhao Qiming, the Zhao family's eldest uncle, started the purge, and he moved faster and harder than I expected. 3 days after our call, the news broke. Zhao Group's board had called an emergency meeting. The entire meeting was sealed off. Not a single detail leaked, but the rumors that came out afterward were enough to shake the whole company. Zhao Ran was suspended pending an internal investigation. The reason was serious violations of company finance rules and conflicts of interest. His CEO office was sealed shut. Right after that, the company's internal audit team moved in fast. They began reviewing everything from his time in office. especially all financial approvals from the past year, contract signatures and where the money went. The focus, of course, was those so-called projects between him and Li Yue. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Once Zhao Ran fell, the people who used to cling to him and never dared speak against Leo immediately sensed the shift in the wind. Reports against Li Yue started piling up. They landed on the audit department's and Zhao Qiming's desks like snowflakes. And the details were all over the place. She used her position to fake travel expenses. She took supplier kickbacks and leaked company secrets to competitors. She even forged executive signatures on reimbursement forms. Every single case had something backing it up. The chain of evidence quickly became clear. Li Yue had lost Zhao Ran, her only umbrella of protection, and she completely panicked. She was like a headless fly. First, she kept calling Zhao Ran like crazy, but his phone was either off or she was blocked. Then somehow she called me. Baichuan, it was you. You're the one behind this, aren't you? You ruined Mr. Zhao. And now you're coming after me. I held my phone and walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window. I looked down at the traffic and pedestrians below, small as ants. My voice was perfectly calm. Coming after you, Leo? You think way too highly of yourself. You and Zhao Ran brought this on yourselves. Bullshit. Mr. Zhao and I are clean. That money was just normal business dealings. You framed me. I'm suing you for defamation. Suing me? I let out a quiet laugh. It was cold. Not a trace of warmth in it. Save it. Before the audit report comes out. You'd better pray you covered your tracks well enough. Oh, and I almost forgot. I heard the Economic Crimes Unit got reports too. Several real-name reports all about you. Pretty detailed stuff. Apparently, it even involves some of your glorious past before joining Zhao Group, like contract fraud. The other end of the line went dead silent. All I could hear was Li Yue's heavy, terrified breathing, like a worn-out bellows. A few seconds later, she slammed the phone down. Only the busy tone was left. I knew she was scared. All her dirty secrets would never survive a real investigation. Zhao Ran's internal investigation results came out fast. The audit report was a thick stack, and every page was shocking. Just between him and Li Yue, there were piles of fake projects and illegal reimbursements. The amount involved was over 5 million yuan, and that didn't even include all the other violations. The board was furious. With Zhao Qiming leading the meeting, Zhao Ran was officially removed from every position at Zhao Group. At the same time, the shareholders jointly held Zhao Ran accountable. The company sued her for harming its interests. They demanded she return the illegal profits and pay damages. Zhao Ran's public image collapsed overnight. She fell straight from the clouds into the mud, and Li Yue's ending came even faster. It was even more dramatic. It was the day after Zhao Ran was officially fired. Li Yue didn't show up at the company. On day 3, sources revealed Li Yue had been taken by police. On day 4, it turned out it wasn't homicide detectives, but financial crime investigators. The charge was suspected fraud. Turns out, before joining Zhao Group, Li Yue was already a notorious scammer. He used fake identities and fake projects. He scammed multiple investors out of a huge amount of money. But he was slick, good at pretending, and had stayed free all this time. Until the Zhao Group scandal made him the center of attention. Those past victims immediately recognized the disguised assistant Li. They reported him to the police and handed over solid evidence. Zhao Ran collapsed. Li Yue was arrested. It was like 2 massive bombs going off. They exploded across the city's business world and gossip circles. Zhao Group's glamorous female CEO used to have it all. So did her trusted assistant. Now they were the biggest scandal and joke in town. The day of the divorce hearing finally arrived. I walked into the solemn courtroom. My divorce lawyer, Attorney Song, was already waiting at the plaintiff's table. The gallery was packed. There were reporters, business people there for the drama, and a few Zhao relatives with complicated looks. Zhao Qiming sat in the front row, his face dark. When he saw me walk in, he gave a slight nod. At the defense table, Zhao Ran sat there alone. Her head was down. Her hands were twisted tightly together, her knuckles white from the pressure. Her body trembled slightly, completely out of control. She didn't even dare look up at anyone. The judge announced the hearing and verified our identities. Only then did Zhao Ran jerk her head up like a startled rabbit. Her gaze crossed the center of the courtroom and landed straight on me at the plaintiff's table. That look was incredibly complicated. There was hatred, fear, and despair, and a trace of disbelief, almost fragile and pleading. It was like only now did she finally realize it. The husband who once obeyed her every word and shielded her from everything had now become a stranger determined to push her into the abyss. The trial proceeded by the book. Attorney Song was clear, logical, and backed by solid evidence. He laid out my divorce demands and property division claims. During the marriage, Zhao Ran had an improper relationship with Li Yue. It had severely damaged our marriage. It even indirectly led to the death of the plaintiff's relative, my father-in-law. Attorney Song presented several key pieces of evidence. The first was a screenshot of Li Yue's post, where he specifically tagged me. A candlelit dinner, the two of them holding hands. The caption said, "Happy in this moment," with a clear timestamp. It was exactly when my father-in-law was dying in the ER. The second was surveillance footage from the hospital entrance. In the video, Zhao Ran roughly shoved aside the gurney carrying his body. The body rolled onto the ground. A corner of the white sheet flipped open, revealing his pale face. But she didn't even look back as she chased after Li Yue's emergency bed and rushed into the hospital. That figure from behind was heartless and cold. The third was a written statement from the funeral home staff about the damage to the body, along with photos from the scene. The fourth was Zhao Ran tearing up the divorce agreement, plus a recording of her cursing me out like crazy at the grave. I had been prepared. The recorder in my pocket had been running the whole time. Every piece of evidence hit like a heavy hammer. It smashed hard into Zhao Ran's heart, and into everyone sitting in the gallery. Muffled gasps and whispers spread through the gallery. Zhao Ran's body trembled even harder. She bit her lower lip so hard it almost bled. She clamped both hands over her ears, as if trying to block out the sounds and images that left her nowhere to hide. Then it was Zhao Ran's turn to speak. Even his lawyer clearly lacked confidence. All he could do was weakly argue that the marriage could still be saved, and that Zhao Ran deeply regretted his mistakes. He hoped the court would give him another chance. Attorney Song immediately stood up to object. The defendant's so-called regret only came after his mistress Li Yue was arrested for fraud, and after he himself was removed from his position for embezzling a massive amount of company funds. Before that, he completely ignored the harm done to the plaintiff and his late father. His attitude was vile. There is no sincerity in his remorse. The judge accepted Attorney Song's objection. Zhao Ran's lawyer was left speechless. Zhao Ran suddenly lifted his head. His bloodshot eyes locked onto me. A storm of collapse raged inside them. He looked like a drowning man, grabbing his last straw. Ignoring courtroom rules, he shouted at me in a hoarse, piercing voice. Bai Chuan, do you really have to go this far? We were married for 10 years. Can't you at least leave me a way out? If my dad knew you were treating me like this, he would never forgive you. He brought up my father-in-law. That became the final straw. A cold wave of fury swept over me. 10 years of marriage? What right did he have to say that? When he was having candle-lit dinners with his mistress, when he shoved away my father-in-law's body, when he tore up the agreement and cursed me out, that pathetic bit of love had already been crushed by his own hands. I slowly stood up. Every eye in the courtroom instantly turned to me. Attorney Song looked at me, his eyes asking a silent question. I spoke. Your Honor, regarding what the defendant just said, I request to submit one key piece of evidence. It goes to the heart of this case, and to the final wish of the deceased. The judge studied me for a moment, then nodded. I took out my phone, opened an encrypted audio file, and connected it to the courtroom speakers. Then I turned to Zhao Ran, my gaze sharp as a blade. Every word rang clearly through every corner of the courtroom, and slammed hard into Zhao Ran's heart. Zhao Ran, you keep saying Dad would never forgive me. Then listen carefully to the last clear words he said before he died. I pressed play. In an instant, the entire courtroom went dead silent. All that came through the speakers was a recording mixed with heavy breathing and faint beeps from medical equipment. The voice was weak and broken, but it carried a chilling anger and unwillingness. Every word sounded like it was being shouted with the last strength of his life. Child, divorce him, leave him, leave! That was the voice I recorded. In the ambulance, during my father-in-law's final moments, it was his accusation and his final request, made with blood and life. Dad! Zhao Ran let out a scream so shrill it barely sounded human. It was like an invisible hammer smashed into his skull. He shot up from the defendant's seat, then buckled under the impact. His whole body pitched forward, and he crashed hard onto the cold, solid floor. He curled up there, his body shaking violently. His hands clutched his head tight, as he let out desperate animal-like sobs and cries. Those cries were gut-wrenching, filled with late, overwhelming regret and pain strong enough to tear his soul apart. That wrinkled suit, now wrapped around his trembling, curled-up body. He looked so small, so pathetic, and so completely deserving. My father-in-law's final roar was like the final judgment. It kept echoing through the solemn courtroom, drowning out his broken wails. It burned itself into the ears of everyone present, and completely crushed his last bit of fantasy and resistance. Order. The cold crack of the gavel came down. It declared the authority of procedure and law, like a final pause in this absurd tragedy. Zhao Ran's wailing on the floor was forced down into broken, uneven sobs. His shoulders shook violently. His whole body curled into a ball, as if he wanted to crawl into the cracks of the floor. This court finds that the marriage between plaintiff and defendant has irretrievably broken down, with no possibility of reconciliation. The defendant committed serious misconduct during the marriage, which was the primary cause of the breakdown. The plaintiff's request for divorce complies with the law. This court hereby grants it. As for the division of marital property, given the defendant's major faults, including cohabiting with another person during the marriage, under Article 1091 of the Civil Code, the plaintiff, as the innocent party, shall receive consideration in the property division, based on the specific circumstances and the plaintiff's claims. This court rules as follows. Additionally, defendant Zhao Ran must, within 15 days after this judgment takes effect, assist plaintiff Bai Chuan in transferring the above equity and real estate registrations. If he fails to do so, this court will enforce it. That final line was like the last nail driven into Zhao Ran's coffin. He collapsed on the floor, without even the strength to keep sobbing. His empty eyes stared up at the ceiling, as if his soul had already been ripped away. Court is adjourned. The judge's gavel came down again. The crowd began to stir. Reporters pointed their cameras at Zhao Ran, who lay broken on the floor. Xiao Qiming stood up and gave me one long look. There was relief in his eyes, and guilt, along with the exhaustion of something finally ending. He did not walk toward Zhao Ran. Instead, he took a few Zhao relatives with him and left the courtroom quickly and in silence. I never looked at Zhao Ran again. With Attorney Song and the bodyguards beside me, I left through the side door. I left that place of hysteria and final judgment behind. Outside, the sky was still gloomy, but the weight on my chest, that heavy boulder soaked in blood and hatred, seemed to finally loosen and roll away. With that strike of the gavel, Everything had finally settled. As I walked out of the courthouse, the winter sun struggled through the thick clouds, casting a few faint but clear rays onto the bare branches in the distance. The road ahead was still long, but every step now belonged to me.